Located near West Lake, the village of Longjing has been the recipient of some very generous gifts from Mother Nature, such as a pleasant climate, breathtaking scenery, fertile earth, and lush mountains. It's where the West Lake Longjing Tea, a renowned local specialty, is grown and processed. Locals are able to make a decent living via the tea industry here. 68-year-old Xu Shengliang gets animated when talking about their specialty.
The tea planted around the West Lake can all be regarded as West Lake Longjing tea, but our tea is with top quality. It's called Lion Peak Longjing. West Lake Longjing tea has 4 categories according to its specific origin.
Famed for its tea-making prowess, Longjing Village attracts numerous tourists who admire and purchase Longjing tea. The Imperial Tea Garden at the foot of the mountain where Xu's tea garden lies is a witness to the village's rich tea history. It's the harvest season for Longjing tea leaves, and according to Xu, timing is extremely important in picking tea leaves. As a local proverb states, tea picked before the Qingming festival is as precious as gold. Longjing tea is widely known for its 4 unique qualities, namely color and luster, aroma, taste, and its delicate shape. Delicate shape refers to Longjing tea's 2 tea leaves and a tender bud. Therefore, Xu says picking tea leaves is a fine art.
You can't grab a bundle of tea leaves at one time. You should pick one by one slowly and tenderly to ensure the delicate shape.
According to Xu, if the temperature is high enough, the trees will grow new shoots overnight. So the frequency of picking depends largely on the temperature.
If the temperature reaches as high as 22 Celsius degree, we can pick tea leaves the next day when we pick some today. But these days are relatively colder compared to the same period last year, so we have to stop for at least 1 day during 2 pickings.
Picking tea leaves is time-consuming. It took Xu half a day to pick all the mature leaves in his tea garden. And that's just the beginning of the process. When Xu returns home, he quickly spreads the fresh tea leaves, a critical step in baking Longjing tea.
We need to spread them and keep them in the shade at least for an hour. The leaves can't be exposed to strong sunshine, otherwise the flavor of tea will be spoiled.
After the leaves are air-dried in the shade for a few hours, these fresh leaves can be baked in a pan. It is the last procedure of making Longjing tea.
The temperature must be high when the leaves are poured in the pot at first. The vapor in the leaves can be removed gradually by hand during baking.
In the early days, villagers used charcoal for tea baking, which required burning a lot of trees. As people became more aware of environmental protection, they opted to use electricity instead. However, the tea leaves are still stirred and baked by hand, thus the traditional tea baking technique is fully preserved.
By using our hand, we can feel how hot the pot is, so it's convenient to control the temperature. A proper maneuver of the heat is decisive to flavor and taste. This procedure is called water removing.
Sometimes the temperature in a pot is as high as 300 degrees Celsius.
The time of baking varies, usually from 3 to 4 hours. We also use our hands to judge whether it's done.
Xu tells CNC that processing 1 kilo of Longjing tea usually requires 4 kilos of fresh tea leaves. The harvest season of spring tea lasts about 1 month, from March to April. For locals, it's the busiest time of the year. Houses in Longjing are mostly built along the mountains. Every year at this time, tea planters dry the tea leaves in front of their houses. Some even bake tea alongside the road.
See the blisters on my hand? I do out baking on my own. You can't stand and bake the tea well unless you are experienced. It requires years of practice.
Longjing Tea enjoys a great reputation both at home and abroad. Therefore, our locals don't have to worry about sales. But what has caused concern is the worry that the ancient techniques of this tea will be lost.
I'm in my 40s now, but few people under 40 years old in the village master tea-making skills. I'm afraid the technique will be lost. When I become too old to work, who will learn my craft?
Like many villagers in China, the younger generation prefers to go to the cities and staying in the village. The tea-baking techniques, which used to be a family craft for decades, faces a dilemma, as it lacks a future generation of producers.
All my children are working in the cities. When I'm dead, so is the tea-making technique.
There are about 800 villagers in Longjing now, and the elderly make up most of the population. So it has become increasingly urgent to preserve the traditional tea-making art.